At this crematorium in Delhi, the bodies lie in the heat for up to 20 hours, and there are more waiting behind these in parked cars driven by grieving relatives. Funeral pyres are so busy that families crisscross India's capital looking for any available space, some of them renting fridges to stop their loved ones from decay. At another crematorium in the city, there are at least ambulances available to ferry the dead, though they are piled high inside. And then another queue for hours before they can be burned. India's official death toll is nearly 200,000 now, and these fires are constant, perhaps the most damning indictment of the Indian government's handling of this crisis to date. At this hospital on Delhi's outskirts, the patients are gasping for oxygen. 100 more are waiting outside, despite being told there's not enough gas or beds. Their best hope is that if somebody here dies, then that will free up a place.
हमारे पास जो सप्लाई है मेडिसिन का, जो भी ऑक्सीजन का सप्लाई है, बेड ऑक्यूपेंसी है, वो डे बाय डे कम होती जा रही है। तो इंडिया में सिचुएशन इस टाइम पे बहुत बुरी है। क्या पता इन फ्यूचर और भी ज़्यादा बैड होती जाए ये सिचुएशन, मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा इट इज़ गोइंग फ्रॉम बैड टू वर्स ओनली।
More devastating by the hour with more than 200. The crisis in India is becoming more devastating by the hour with more than 200,000 lives claimed by COVID, more than 360,000 new infections in just the last 24 hours, breaking the global record for a single day. And this video overnight really tells the tragic story. Makeshift crematoriums line the streets, a desperate effort to lay to rest India's ever-increasing dead. The pandemic is now projected to kill another 600,000 people there by August. Researchers actually think the death toll is twice what is currently being reported. Google CEO Sundar Pichai was born in India, raised there, tweeted that he is devastated by this crisis. The company has thousands of employees there, and they're now pledging $18 million in new assistance to India, cash grants for families, funding for UNICEF, urgent medical supplies, including oxygen. Joining us now exclusively is a Google CEO and the CEO of the parent company Alphabet, Sundar Pichai. Thank you for being with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
It's personal for you. You've got a lot of close family members there. And I just wonder if we could step back, because now you're here and you're living the American dream and you're vaccinated, and any American over 16 can get vaccinated. And I wonder what it's like for you to be in this position and then look at what's happening in the country you love.
Well, the situation there is dire, and it's been heartbreaking to see. And I think there are the worst is yet to come. What's been heartening, at least being here, is definitely seeing the attention here. I realize that at the highest levels, from President Biden, Secretary Blinken, there's been focus on engaging to see how we can help India and the other countries being affected. And particularly over the last weekend, in an unprecedented way, more than 100 CEOs, the U.S. Chamber, the Business Roundtable, and the U.S.-India Strategy Partnership Forum came together with the administration to mobilize and do our part to help. So that's been good to see, and India deserves our attention right now.
India deserves their attention right now, and you think the worst is still to come. I know you met with Secretary Blinken. Dr. Ashish Jha, also an Indian American, said only the United States has the capacity, resources, and technological know-how to bend India's catastrophic second wave of disease. What more did you tell Secretary Blinken you want the Biden administration to do?
I think there was a lot of focus on making sure anything we can do to increase vaccine production and supply, is being mobilized, helping with oxygen concentrators and supplies. And then different companies have different capabilities, and the US government has its unique capabilities. From our side, we really focused on providing the most helpful information. There are 600 million people connected to the internet, and they're really looking for information about vaccine and testing. And so working with the Ministry of Health in India, making sure we can get the right information on the ground has been a big focus for us. As as well as partnering with NGOs and public health organizations to get the messaging out. And it's important when people are able to stay home and mask and and stay safe. And so we are helping get the message out in partnership.
On the first issue that you just
Arraj.
mentioned, Sundar, which is vaccine supply, the U.S. will send its AstraZeneca vaccine, some of
Kill
it,
in Syria
to
something
India
and fire
when
in
the
the
FDA gives the green light on that. But there's also the question of the intellectual property, as you know, the recipe for these vaccines. And India asked the World Trade Organization 6 months ago to waive
Fire
that
the fish.
IP protection. And the U.S. has not voted and not raised its hand supporting a waiver like that. A lot of experts, including the congressman that represents your district, Rokana, believe the U.S. should support that, believe that would help India.
آلاف التأمين في الهند وأعمدة الدخان. حرق مستمر لآلاف التأمين في الهند وأعمدة الدخان تشاهد في أنحاء البلاد وداخل المشهد. الأسر المنكوبة لضحايا جائحة كوفيد-19 تنتظر لساعات لأداء الطقوس الأخيرة وحرق جثامين ذويهم بشكل جماعي. حرق مستمر لآلاف التأمين في الهند وأعمدة الدخان تشاهد في أنحاء البلاد وداخل المشهد. الأسر المنكوبة لضحايا جائحة كوفيد-19 تنتظر لساعات لأداء الطقوس الأخيرة وحرق جثامين ذويهم بشكل جماعي من أطفال وشباب دون مساحة كافية أو وقت لتكريم الضحايا. فما القصة؟ بحسب شبكة BBC، في بلد يقطنه ما يزيد عن مليار شخص سجلت 16 مليون إصابة بكورونا و186 ألف حالة وفاة حتى الآن. وخلال الأسبوعين الماضيين تم تسجيل 3 ملايين إصابة، والأرقام ترتفع بشكل قياسي بسبب هذه الموجة الجديدة لكوفيد-19 في الهند، وهي أكثر حدة بكثير من الموجة الأولى التي ضربت البلاد في منتصف سبتمبر من العام الماضي، رغم كل ما شاهدناه من مقاطع للشرطة الهندية العام الماضي وهي تلاحق من يخترق قرار حظر التجول. المستشفيات اليوم تكتظ بالمرضى.
2014 we showed a miracle through a text shows the whole religion and the whole universe in one text this size. But the Aussie government decided to fight hard and to follow someone who fixes the religion and fixes the universe through one world religion by following him and allegation of mental disorders and following him in the shopping center. The white Nazi police in Australia is doing serious crimes against God himself. On the 20th of December we warned that Myer made a false allegation and resulted in a false ban notice because of the dirty police. I have been banned for 1 year. Before this ban finished, a disaster will happen, will make everyone shaking. It's like cinema movies, Contagion, I'm Legend. So after that, Myer is again following what we alleged is a supernatural, something supernatural. Here before the year finished, the appeared. Here is a supernatural activity. On the 5th of April, the emojis turned into fact. See? So when Myer again, the 1st of April, commit a crime, this means the government of Australia doesn't want to pay any respect for someone fix their religion through a supernatural activity. And this means you have no ethics when you watch them fighting a God. So this God burn you so that you take an action. Your silence means you agree that this white scum fight a God, and you pay.